Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of UA Eats. I'm UA, and I am still technically in Denver, but pretty much on my way out. I came across something that I want to try before I head out, and I still have some time, so this will be the final thing that we eat while we're in Denver. So here at the Denver airport, there is a location of Elway's, a steakhouse opened by legendary Hall of Fame quarterback John Elway and Denver legend. Probably one of the most famous NFL players ever, I would say. At least top 5 or 10. You know, this place Elway's, it could strike someone as, you know, just a cash grab, but the reviews are actually pretty good, so let's give it a shot, why don't we? Let's see if John Elway, legendary quarterback, let's see how he is at making a steak, so let's check it out. Alright guys, so we are now seated at the John Elway Steakhouse, and I guess I can't really say I'm seated inside it because, you know, it's an airport, so I'm kind of right by the terminal. And this is a pretty interesting place in that they have John Elway memorabilia everywhere, and they are also playing John Elway's games at the bar pretty much 24/7. But of course, despite that, it still kind of has that sophisticated steakhouse feel, and I'm pretty impressed that they were able to really replicate that fancy steakhouse atmosphere at an airport. Well, at least for some people. I mean, I'm kind of in the patio seating, so I have a sophisticated view of the terminal, but that's okay. I mean, I kind of picked this spot on purpose because I wanted a spot that had better lighting, and it was a little bit dark in there. I was afraid I would not get good lighting. Let's take a look at the menu, why don't we? So it's not a very large menu. I kind of wonder if this menu is bigger at other locations. Maybe the airport is like a, you know, like an express or like a condensed menu. They have a few starters. Steak tacos is interesting, but you know, it's Denver. Mexican food is pretty big here. And other standards like onion rings and artichoke and lamb chop fondue sounds kind of nice. Some soups and salads, and they have some burgers, and the burgers, they're called signature burgers, and they're all smash burgers, but to be honest, these burgers are not very cheap. Even in New York, this would be expensive. I mean, I guess it's the airport, but still a little pricey. But then we got the Elway's Classics here, and I think these are mostly your steakhouse staples. So, you know, another burger, salmon, ribs, and steaks. And what I kind of find interesting is that their filet mignon, 61 bucks, is the same price as their New York strip steak, which I would not expect. Because filet mignon, especially in this case 12 ounces versus 8 ounces, I would expect that the filet mignon would be cheaper as it typically is. Let's try this New York strip, why don't we? I mean, ribeye is good, but New York strip, I feel like unlike ribeye, is not so much of like a fat bomb. New York strip is marbled and fatty, but more evenly so and not so intensely so. So I feel like New York strip steak is a good gauge of a restaurant. And then I guess we'll get a recommendation for a side. Would you recommend the Caesar salad?
Caesar salad? It's your call, it's just a salad.
Oh, okay. Which of the sides then do you recommend?
They're all different. I mean,
okay. Alright, then, alright, I'll try the Caesar salad then, and I'll do
like any protein on it?
No, just as is. And I'll also do the New York strip steak, medium rare. Yeah, thank you. Alright, so not the most polite service, I gotta say. You know, doesn't really give you that sophisticated steakhouse feel in terms of the service. It kind of broke my immersion a little bit. It kind of snapped me back to reality, to the airport. Like, I felt like that was TSA talking to me, but it's all good. Hopefully the food is good. That's all that matters at the end of the day. So let's see how long this takes to come out. Thank you. Alright guys, our first course, the Caesar salad. I'm about to board a flight, so I figured I would want to get some vegetables in to make for a smoother flight, you know? It actually looks like a solid Caesar salad. The server was not super excited about it. He said it's just a salad, but I think Caesar salad done well can be quite nice. As far as I can tell, the vegetables, the lettuce looks pretty fresh to me, you know, looks pretty fresh, and the cheese looks like shredded Parmesan cheese, hopefully the real stuff, Parmigiano Reggiano, and not like the imitation kind. So it looks like they make their own croutons, if I were to guess, rather than just getting them from a bag. So, you know, I'm kind of glad that I went against the advice and I still gave this a shot, because Caesar salad can be pretty good at a good steakhouse. So let's take a break from our tedious airport travel experience and give the Caesar salad a chance. Why don't we? My initial thoughts were true. I think the lettuce is indeed very fresh, especially in an airport. I really welcome that. So it's fresh lettuce and the cheese has nice flavor. I kind of wish that there was a little bit more dressing on this. The salad is a little bit on the dry end. You know, any moisture is mostly from the moisture from the lettuce itself. It's not really very thickly coated. I mean, on one hand, I appreciate that. Like, I don't want salads that are too drenched and too wet and so calorie heavy because of the dressing that it takes away the whole point of eating salad. But that being said, you want it to be a little more heavily coated than this. I mean, this is almost a little bit too healthy. I kind of just taste the vegetables and not so much the dressing. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, oh, I almost forgot. Let's try one of the croutons. You can't not review a homemade crouton, right?
Is it okay if it came up already?
Yeah.
There you go, there.
Thank you. So just real quick, I want to say that the crouton was actually outstanding. They almost taste like tiny little cubes of garlic bread, like toasted garlic bread. Like, they're crunchy, they have that garlicky flavor. They're a little oily too, in a pleasant way. And they balance well with the rest of the fresh salad. So the croutons were a bit of a saving grace. I guess I will just say, to be honest, the salad was a little bit underwhelming in that it was not sufficiently dressed. But the croutons were indeed good. Although I'm not sure if it was worth ordering this just for the croutons. It is now time to review the New York strip steak here at Elway Steakhouse. And just right off the bat, it's pretty small, I feel like. Just look at how thin that steak is. Kind of reminds me of the steaks that you get at the grocery store, like not super thick. I do have to say too that, he kind of just like plopped the plate down and he's like, here you go. So it wasn't just that one server. I feel like service here is a little bit lacking in general. I guess it's the airport. You just kind of have to expect it. I mean, just looking at how small and thin this steak is, I don't think this is worth 61 bucks. I do feel like I got a little bit gypped. Let's take a look at more of the steak, why don't we? I mean, it looks well seasoned. Let's take a look at the bottom. Is there sear on both sides? Okay, not really. I guess let's give this a shot, why don't we? Except for the fact that they never gave me a steak knife, so let me ask for that real quick. Excuse me, can I get a steak knife?
Yes, TSA approved.
Oh.
Yes, enjoy.
Sounds good, thank you. I don't know if this is a steak knife. I mean, it kind of looks sort of similar to this butter knife, right? Let's cut this guy, why don't we? Okay. Actually, I just realized, I don't think she was making a joke earlier saying TSA approved. I just realized that maybe because we're in the airport, maybe they can't give us more than this, for safety reasons. So, you know what? Let's give them a pass on this. I think maybe this is just the best they can do for safety purposes. The fat does not look fully rendered in this steak. We'll give it a shot, why don't we? I'm not really liking the flavor of the meat. It doesn't really taste like good quality meat. It does taste juicy, but not necessarily in like a pleasant marbled way. It almost tastes juicy in like a cheaper way, like in a butter way, as opposed to like a melt in your mouth way. I don't know if that was a good way to explain it. And to be honest, the seasoning too, while I was praising it earlier, saying that it was well seasoned, it's a little over seasoned. Like, the black pepper flavor is really overwhelming and it's definitely way too much pepper flavor for me. I guess let's try another bite of this, why don't we? Okay, difficult to saw a piece off with a butter knife, but I managed to do it. At least it's nice and pink on the inside. Let's take a bite. I actually don't necessarily mind the cook of it. even if it is maybe more medium than medium rare. But to be honest, the steak is just pretty disappointing. It doesn't really taste like it's prime steak, and it doesn't taste like it's really aged much. There's a ton of black pepper on it, but it's undersalted. Like, what this steak is really missing is some salt. I know they have steak on the side here that you can add yourself, but it's not the same to salt it at the table yourself afterwards. You really should be pre-salting this more in advance. So it's undersalted and over-peppered. The steak is so thin and such a small portion. The quality of the meat does not seem particularly good, nor does the meat seem to be aged much. I gotta say, guys, for me, this steak was just overall a pretty disappointing experience. I mean, I was saying that the steak was all that mattered. I even almost much prefer the salad, so I'm gonna fill up more on the salad and then I'll nibble more of the steak. Hi, quick question. Do you know if the steak is prime or choice?
Of course, prime.
Prime?
USDA, yes.
Okay.
We use prime meat.
Okay. Is it dry aged or wet aged? Do you know?
I'm not sure if it's a dry age.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll find out.
Okay, thank you.
You don't like it?
It's okay. I'll eat more of it. Yeah, it's okay.
I see you making a story over there.
Huh?
Making a story.
Oh yeah. It's
TikTok story?
yeah, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Make good money on it?
A little bit. Yeah.
Still dry age.
Not dry aged.
It's prime USDA.
Okay. Thank you.
Good quality.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so he says it's prime, but it's not dry aged, it's wet aged. So, gonna finish lunch, then we'll share final thoughts out in the terminal. Alright guys, so I just finished eating at John Elway Steakhouse, and I gotta say, I just gotta be completely honest, it was a really bad experience. It was probably... Hey, what's up? Hey. It was probably the worst steakhouse I've ever eaten at, hands down. They were honest with me, you know, the server was honest and he told me that it was not dry aged, it was wet aged. Was it prime meat though? I don't know, it definitely didn't taste like it. To be honest, it tasted like a steak from like ShopRite or something, or like even worse, like Seatown or something. It's possible that if the steak were better salted, that would have helped. I mean, salting stuff really helps to amplify their flavor more, so if there was any great flavor in there, it was completely being held back by a lack of salt. It was just completely bland and overpowered with the black pepper, so I gotta say, guys, unfortunately, I wanted to like it. John Elway was a great player, and I really wanted to like his restaurant, but I cannot recommend John Elway steak to you guys. I would say it was a tourist trap or maybe a local trap. I feel like a lot of people probably have rose-colored glasses on. They're thinking more about him as a legendary quarterback than the quality of the steak itself. So, but anyways, have you guys eaten at John Elway Steak before? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, because great minds eat alike. If you like my videos, make sure you like and subscribe. That way you stay up to date whenever I post another video. And yeah, it looks like I am almost to my gate, so I timed this completely perfectly. So until next time, I'll see you later.